Okay, so we're going to look at
Now
how to. I'm sorry?
This code was generated for NinjaTrader.
Okay.
So I don't use NinjaTrader, but I'm told it's C# code.
Okay, yeah, and that's no problem. Okay,
Right.
I've received your email. Let me see. Oh no, that's an earlier email.
It should be on its way.
Okay. Okay, I haven't received it yet, and so what we'll do is I'll wait until we'll wait until
Really?
it comes in.
You haven't gotten it yet?
No.
I used to think email was instant.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it. I got your other email that you sent at 5:00, but I don't have this one. So what I'll do is I'll start a new project, and then we'll get to it. What we're going to do is like we're going to start a class project. Now, do you write in C# or do you write in Visual Basic?
Well, no, I've written in Visual Basic many years ago, but right now, if I can make this work, and all I need is a hint that it will work.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to need to learn C#, relearn C#, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, like you can easily write it. Like I can show it to you in Visual Basic, and you'll see. It's just a matter of inheriting. I write in C# a lot, but I'm also far more effective and productive in Visual Basic. So you just tell me which one. We can do it in C. It doesn't matter.
Do C# because the code is supposedly as close as possible to C#.
Okay.
Which is NinjaTrader.
All right, let's go here and let's find a class library. And I'm going to find a place to save this. Let's just put it here in Documents. And
can I share anything on this whiteboard with you? Is there anything I could copy and paste it into this here if you have a share area?
Sure. Let's see. Let me put this here. Ion Desk code. And I'm going to select that folder, and we're going to call this Ion Desk add-in. All right. So we're going to start a class library, and it's pretty straightforward. Okay, we've got a public class here, and what we want to do is we've got 3 classes that we're going to need to build. I'm going to call this my add-in, input, and we're going to call the other one is my add-in. All right?
Okay.
All right. Now, the way, we designed the API to be extremely simple, okay? Remember, Ion Desk will call a function inside of your add-in, and it will use the input. The input is what the user or even yourself will see on the interface, okay? And so Ion Desk will take that input, save it, and then send it here, okay? So when you build an add-in, it has 2 parts, input and function or processor, okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to rename this my add-in over here. All right, and so the first thing you do is you have to reference the our API library, which is located in the exe directory. I'm going to hit browse here, and we're going to go find it. So wherever you've installed Ion Desk, you go to that folder, and then you locate our extension DLL. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. It's called Ion Desk Add-in Extension. You hit Add. You hit OK, and now it's a part of your solution. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to add an ion desk. I'm sorry, we want to inherit an ion desk add-in. What? What do we want to do? Well, what we want to do is we want to determine, well, what type of add-in are we building? We're going to be building a signal. So we need this. So for our input, we need to inherit our signal input. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And for our main add-in part, ion desk, we're going to inherit the add-in signal base. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Easy enough, right?
Yeah, so far.
So far. Now, there's only one function that we included, and it's called get data. That's it. That is it. Now, if you notice, the only thing I did was I came in here and I said override, and it's get data. All of our add-ins do the exact same thing. Now, as far as the input, it's going to be whatever we want it to be, and I'll show you how that works. Now, there's one other thing that you need to do. Okay, we need to override the add-in info. Those are the two things that are required. Okay. Now, you may ask, well, what is this thing? Okay, what it is, I'm going to do a var a equals new add-in info, add-in class info. This is just the information that IonDesk uses to know what it is. Okay, I'm going to return a here. Okay, no problem. And so from there, we'll say a dot our add-in type is going to be a signal. Okay, a dot. Let's see, what is the title? This is Samir's add-in. Okay, this is just, you fill this out so that IonDesk knows everything about it. But one of the most important parts is what we call the item GUID, or genuine ID. This separates your add-in from others.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, unique GUID, or genuine ID, and you get that by using the tools up here, and you just go like normally they have a. You've seen that tool, like where you pull up and it gives you a 32-character unique number. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put anything in here for right now. I'm just going to type it in, but you definitely don't want to do this. But let's pretend that, because I don't develop on this machine, so I really don't know where that tool is. But it's a tool that will give you a 32-character unique GUID that will never be repeatable and all that good stuff. Yeah. And then there are some other, like generic things that we can do in here. Like, for instance, like you can say the version. All of this stuff is already preset. You can say the release, where the quick info URL, like if you had help to it, if you really wanted to get fancy. And there's a lot of other things you can fill out. But the description of it. But these are the most important things right here. What's the type? What's the title? And the unique number associated with it. That's really all you need. Now,
okay.
Once you've told IonDesk, okay, this is what I am, now let's get into what it does, okay? Now notice, with every single add-in type, it's always going to return something, okay? And it's always going to call get data every single time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things that you need to change is this. You need to change our basic signal input into your my add-in. I wish I would have made that Samir, but
that's okay.
Yeah, but you get the idea. This is the input that is shown on IonDesk when someone goes in here to add a signal, and then they see this form is dynamically built based on your inputs that you have here. Okay. And so you don't have to worry about creating nothing. The only thing you need to do is put public properties out here. I need a look back. I need some metric, whatever.
Yeah, you're gonna use. I'm wondering if you've gotten that email yet.
Still haven't gotten it.
This is bizarre.
Yep.
Is there a place to have a copy? I mean, to paste something here on your desk?
Okay, I've gotten it.
Okay.
Okay, so this particular code that you have is from, let's see, Ninja Trader Strategy. Let's see, what is the name of it? Okay, TQQ 30-minute. Let's see, prop. Okay. All right, let's see. What does this do? Okay, variables for average true range. Okay, there's the data series for the average true range, and then it's doing a lot more than what you were doing a few minutes ago. But
oh yeah, I tell you honestly, I don't know what that code generated, but this genetic algorithm generated all that code, and I absolutely have no idea what it does. But the performance curve looks pretty good. That's why I'm trying to. And I'm not planning to actually use it. I'm just trying to see if there's a chance that I could take whatever that thing generates in time, plug it in here, and have this thing fire up the back testing and real live simulation, with real-time data.
Yeah, I mean, you can pop it in there, but it won't be 1, 2, 3. I mean, like, you would really have to know what it is that they're doing, because even I'm reading that code. It's not intimidating by any means, but you would still need to know, well, because see, the difference between possibly NinjaTrader and Ion Desk is that Ion Desk is going to give you, like for instance, that E that comes in, you're getting your inputs here. But the thing is that, let me see, E.IonDesk. I want some historical data. So I'll go here to data. Data and I can get, I just want, like, if I just wanted a quote, I would say, okay, well, give me the quote for Facebook at that point in time. So when Ion Desk says get data, you can get the quote for Facebook. I'm going to change this to Q so that it is a little bit more in line. Okay, and so now once I have that quote, the first thing I do is I say if Q, the first thing I do is check to make sure that data is ready. Is data ready? And if it is, then I can continue with my processing. Okay, and so I can come in here and say if price, if previous close or anything is greater than Q dot high. Okay, and so what I'm saying is if this is true, then okay, now here comes the I won't say the tricky thing, but I'm going to call this R. var R is what we're going to return, or the result. And that's going to be this particular object right here. This is what we're going to return. Signal output. So we want to say a new signal output. So let's think about the flow before I go forward. Ion Desk basically has three parts. We've got the function that Ion Desk calls to check to see if it's time to fire off an order. We've got the input, and we've got the info. Okay? So we've got input, info, and processing. And so inside of the processing, we're always going to be coming in with the input, and we're always going to be leaving out with the object that Ion Desk wants. And so I'm going to put result down here. And so, like, let's read this aloud. Ion Desk says, okay, Samir, I have an add-in here, and I'm calling get data. It comes in, and then it creates a new result, because we're going to return it regardless if it has any signals or not. Okay, and so you're saying, well, my solution is based on Facebook. Okay, so I go and get the Facebook quote. I check to see if it's ready, meaning that there's data there, because if this was maybe processed outside of hours, you may not even have any data there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if there's data there, then okay, basically my signal is I want the previous close to be like let's make it less than. I want it to be less than the high. Okay, and so if the high for the day has been met, now we say in our result we say dot add. Sorry. We say data dot add, and we're gonna add what is called a signal output item. We say new signal. Let's see, new ion desk. Add in signal output item. Okay, and with that comes some parameters: historical data point, a decimal, or we can just say new. So we're just going to say, now, if you were plotting this on a chart, then it would need to know, well, where do I need to plot it? That's, that may or may not be, important. But the important thing is, so like, let's just put Q dot price, which is the price of Facebook at that point in time. Now, again, that is only important if you were plotting Facebook, if you were plotting this particular signal on a chart. If you were not, then it's just using your order. Now, here comes the part that you've probably been waiting or thinking about. Where do I get the buy and sell signals? Okay, here it is.
Okay.
We said that based on the quote of Facebook, if the data is ready and the previous close is less than the high, we want to signal that as a buy. And it's just that simple. Okay?
I see.
And so now the result comes out and it goes back to Ion Desk. Hey, he said that this is a buy. Ion Desk looks at the time of this particular signal, and then it says, okay, now I can look at, well, how long does that signal last, and all of those things like that. We handle all of that. The only thing you need to worry about is this right here. Tell us when the signals happen. This condition can be, well, if the sun is up today, it doesn't matter. Tell us when the signal happens. Now let's do something a little bit more complex. I'm gonna keep this for you, and then I'll send it to you later. But you're able to follow this, right?
Yeah, I'm following you. My question is, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a very simple translation, basically, from the NinjaTrader libraries to your library.
No.
It's going to take some real development, right?
Well, I mean, like you're dealing with two different systems, number one, and
right.
Number two, you may be dealing with, how NinjaTrader reads data versus how Ion Desk reads data. Ion Desk reads data from the standpoint of if you ask for historical data, right? Ion Desk is going to return you a full set of historical data. Per my knowledge of NinjaTrader, they return you a point in time, okay, which is processed a little bit differently. So, like right now, I'm saying give me the open high close, low close for, let's see, there's a string. Okay, so here there's a string, and I can ask for different things, okay, different intervals and different things. So I want Facebook, and I want the intervals. Let's see, I want the, and it's probably the best way to do this is to take your input and take the interval from there, okay, because that's what the user wants to work with, okay? And then the time of day, and then you can just say, now. I mean, like, there's a lot of ways to do that because we've got several different overloaded. I'm sorry, not doing this right. There's actually a more simple way. I think you can just pass in E. Yep, you can just pass in E. Meaning, like, all of the brains that it needs to get the historical data is already in the input. Meaning, like however you set it up here, it's going to take the interval, it's going to take the symbol, it's going to take everything, and it already knows, and just set it up, and so you don't really have to do a lot of programming there. Again, that's just something that, and so again, the first thing I would do is if the H data dot is ready. I'm sorry, is data ready? If it is, then we're able to use this data, and then we can do something like for each. We'll say P as. I'm sorry. Let's see. He's asking me to be an expert here in
C#.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Who are you talking to?
Huh?
You're talking to one of your buddies?
I'm talking to you.
Oh.
Okay, PNH dot data. And so right here, I'm calling for a loop of I'm saying for each P in there, but I have to give it doesn't know what to do with that right now. So I'm going to say, let's see if there's a historical. We got to go somewhere else and get that information, I think. I think it's going to be in the data namespace. Okay. And we need a historical data point. So when we go to get our historical data, then what's going on here? For each. What did I do wrong? Okay, something's not right. Let's see. Data might be. This should be a historical data chain right here. Check something. I'm going to comment all of this out. Yeah, it's a data chain. So h.data. I'm trying to figure why is it. Oh, we also have to include this other object. I forgot about that. We need to add this particular guy. And so now this guy is enumerable here. So we'll uncomment that out, and everything is fine now. Okay, so now you're able to loop these particular points. And so each one of those data points, there's a P dot, there's the body size of the candle, there's the bottom tail, there's the, the high and the low. It's a lot of other overloaded things in here, but basically there's your close adjusted. There's your you're going to see, is it bearish, is it bullish, and that's basically saying is the close above the low, or or vice versa. We got some other things in here, like there's your low and the top tail value, the volume. So all that information is in there, and you're able to loop it and find out interesting things. And so you can run math up against that. And, like our add-ins, like if you can imagine, I'm like, there's, you can do whatever you want to do. So once you have the historical data, now you're able to walk it, and then once again, as you're finding things, you'll say, yeah, add a buy signal at that day and time. And so in this particular case, we will be saying P dot date, because that is the historical data point. And so that would allow us to plot this actually, and I would say P dot close. This would actually plot on the chart properly. Okay? And so if we can actually plot our signal on the chart, as well as plot our signal or use our signal in our order, because it's essentially giving us buy-sell signals, in which you've probably seen a lot of our charts with these things. These are no more, like nothing more than signals that can be used inside a chart or inside an order. So like if I went here and I cleared all of this out, these previous things that were built, let me take them out, and then let me go to the pattern, and let's look at one of the patterns that we saw previously, like for instance, 3 black crows, which are 3 red bars essentially. Okay, so wherever there are 3 red bars, we're plotting that particular pattern, and so in the sense of ion desk, it would in the sense of an order, when it sees that pattern, it would do a certain action based on how the person set the order up. The person could say, well, when I see 3 black crows short, or when I see 3 black crows by, it just depends on what they want to do.
Right.
And so that is the way, and then, like once you have your add-in built, okay, once you have it built, I'll comment all of this out because it's something that's not right in there, and I don't feel like searching for it right now. We'll comment that guy out, and actually we'll just go back in time here. Okay, that's what I wanted. And so we'll take all of this out. And so our signal, like we're right back to our Facebook quote. And so whenever we see that previous close above the high, it generates a buy signal. And so that's the way, this is a very simple a signal that would work inside of Ion Desk.
I think this is going to be a little more complicated than I'm going to attempt, at least in the next several months. You may have what I need, though, in all the UI that you've exposed, and I'll experiment with that a lot.
Okay. Yeah, it's like for someone that is, writing software, it's pretty simple to grasp, that, okay, you need input, like for instance, if I was mimicking one of these particular inputs over here, like for instance, candles, okay, candles, that's a number. And so I would go over here and I would say, okay, let's see, E dot candles. I would just write it, okay, equals 2 or 3.
Now, if I had a really good developer, what would I need to give them to be able to do a translation? Where's all the classes documented, and where's the
everything
the documentation?
Everything is right here in our help. Like if you go here to help, and then
all the class libraries and methods and so forth are documented in there. Okay.
Yep. There's a full developer's guide. So like you would come here, and so as you can see, like we have a solutions roadmap, so you can see the things that can be built. We've got a developer guide that walks you through, understanding the extensibility, how it provides extensibility, what is an add-in, building the add-ins, an overview of building the add-ins, how to provide connectivity, is the same thing that I was showing you earlier. Where where to put the add-in there, the user, how to provide. Everything's here, and then you got the full API help here, which gets into the abstracts, and all of those things. So everything is there for you to take advantage of.
Okay, and the script, you had mentioned something about the script language.
Yeah.
What's that used, and how is that used?
Well, basically, you would come in here to Ion Desk, and keep in mind this the particular computer that I'm on right now is not properly set up for it, but I'll show you how to access it because your computer probably is.
Okay.
Let me see here. And so you would go to our toolbar. Let me close this down and redo it. So you would go to our toolbar, click Ion Desk script, and you would come here, and then you would be able to write code. So let me import a script that already exists, like a buy and sell, okay? And so once you have the script, and then you're able to just simply run it. And so this particular script.
So this is basically VB script?
It's VB, but it can be written in C#. So you just need to select C# there.
So why do you call it script? I'm confused a little bit. Is that way you don't need an external developer studio? Is that what it is?
Well, it's script because you don't actually compile it. And so, like it's just loose text that you write. It's the same logic, but like I was explaining to you in the email, is that if you do have access to a developer, this code is really no different than building an add-in, but the add-in is going to be far more robust. And plus, the difference is that the script basically carries out an action, while an add-in can be used as a solution. Okay, and so you wouldn't be able, like for instance, if you wanted to do something to place an order, you would have to write all of the logic and everything, and then you would need to go and place the order. Like I'm showing here, you would need to create a new order, set the symbol, set how many shares it is, and so on. And so now again, if your particular computer is configured properly, you would actually see a form here. There's a form that gets generated based on these particular inputs. Okay? And so just like I have symbol here, shares, order action, these things will be automatically generated over here, so you can actually fill them out and hit run script, and it'll run whatever you have going on here. So that is the.
Is this a good place, aside from the patterns that I already described? Would this be a good place, for example, to specify the conditionals for the conditions for entry and exit? What we were just doing, for example,
no.
Script would not be a good place. Okay.
Yeah. Script is for carrying out an action. So, like, I want to place an order. And so whatever it is, logic that you put in there, you're going to have like an end result. Whereas an add-in or a signal or a pattern is just like a solution that that data gets passed into, and then the developer is observing it to find out, hey, yeah, this is a buy signal, this is a sell signal. Just like I showed you with the.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. And so, script has its place. But the add-in is going to be a far more powerful solution, and it's just as easy to write, because think about it. With the script, you're going to have to do far more work in terms of, even though it's very accessible and you can change things and see the result very quickly. The drawback is that you can't use it as an integral part of a larger solution.
Yeah, I'm definitely I follow you now. So let me ask you one more question, and I know it's getting late. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
If I have, let's say, I need a Fisher transform.
Okay.
Of another indicator, how would I do that? Is that possible?
A Fisher transform of another
indicator. Let's say the unbalanced volume. If I want to create a Fisher transform of the unbalanced volume.
Let's see. I think we have the Fisher in here.
Okay.
And it's based on, let's see, transform target, historical prices. Yeah, currently right now it's very closed. Like right now,
it's only on prices, Fisher transform of price. But if I want to do a Fisher transform of an unbalanced volume, I would probably have to put that, right?
Yeah. And so as you can see, here's the result of the Fisher transform that we have. And let's see, I was actually requisitioned by another customer to build the Fisher transform. I personally, didn't like the signals that I saw.
But by itself of price, it doesn't make it's not good. But I'm combining that with several other things
Right.
to generate the right buy and sell.
Okay, got you. Yeah. I'm aware of what it does.
This one would be a disaster, wouldn't it? Based on what I'm
Oh
looking
yeah,
at.
yeah. I never really, careful fisher too much. But again, I could easily come in here and combine it with something else. So, like for instance, I could come in here and say, okay, I want you to be combined with our momentum ratio, and I want to combine the signals, and like let's see if it gets filtered out, how it works. Still, not good in my opinion. But
yeah, what's
if I
the
can't,
default here you're looking at? Just 1 day of data?
yeah,
Okay.
whatever the chart is observing. So, like, if you look at this particular indicator, and if I normalize a signal, you get something that is a little bit more tradable.
Yeah.
It's trying to buy here on the high and it's selling there. It's trying to buy there and selling there. It's a little late. I'm more of a momentum type trader. Breaking previous highs and things like that. But Samir, I hope that that you see some serious value inside of Ion Desk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just need to work with it for a couple months, 2-3 months to get my head around all the capabilities here.
Okay. Yeah. We've got some great things. Just like I said, being able to, to write an application that is external to Ion Desk, is going to be tremendously powerful. And in the coming weeks, I'm hoping that we'll be able to show that power. So like say like for instance, if you wanted to write an app and you're getting your signals from somewhere else, but you just wanted to submit it, you would be able to do that easily with this particular API. It'll be very simple. In other words, Ion Desk will, while it's running, it will actually have its own URL. And that URL might be something like localhost, and then you have the port number, and then it'll be /orders, and then that will give you all of the order API at your fingertips to reference from anywhere on your computer where Ion Desk is running, and hopefully
that is powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so so like for instance, if you want to get our historical data, you would just say, okay, localhost, and then the port number /data/historical, and then you'll be able to begin to get those APIs for that and just call it, and then you can really do your own things in a comfortable environment, even if you want to do it from Excel, inside of PowerPoint, like create a Visual Studio app. It doesn't matter. You'll be able to call it because it's right there.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So Leonard, how many people are there working like you, and what's your role there? Is that a support or trainer, or what is your role?
No, I am the man, and it's basically me and 2 of my 3 other brothers that run Ion Desk.
Okay, cool, very cool.
Yeah.
You've done a great job. This is amazing, actually.
Well, I appreciate it.
I just need to get my head around it, and I would appreciate if you could send me the links or the recordings themselves. Huh?
Okay, yeah, I'll go out there and then I'll get that ready for you, and it's going to be out there and Join Me. I'm not really that astute with Join Me, but I always record them so that they will be available when I need to get to them. But I'll definitely get out there and try to get that over to you as soon as possible.
I really appreciate it.
Yep,
One last question. It sounds like you do some development as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's good to know.
Yeah. Like we do build, custom things when clients, need something that's very, particular, and they know exactly what they want. And so, yeah, I mean, we built. I remember building this one thing for a client. They wanted to do an arbitrage of the Berkshire A and B, and I wasn't familiar with that trading style. It was the coolest thing and pretty simple. Every time it got out of line, he wanted to buy it. Every time it got back in line, he wanted to sell it. And I was like, wow, that was just, it was a great trading, mechanism. I personally wouldn't trade it, but it worked, and it was cool to build.
I noticed that actually with the Google, when they had the two different classes of shares offered.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't explain why they were so differently traded. Now they're a lot closer to each other, but they're still different, and I don't get it. What is the difference? Like, Google 537 and Google L is 545.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand. I've been noticing that for a while, and I just don't know what it means.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that astute in all of the different types of classes of stocks, and and why the instruments were created and what they're for. But the only thing I do know is that we can play them. We can play them if we find the correlation or inverse correlation in there. We can play it. So.
No, this is great, and I really appreciate you taking the time, because it is a very comprehensive system and lots of capabilities, and it was hard to learn all that you've showed me just from the videos that are out there.
Yeah, our videos are lacking, and I definitely apologize for that, because we've been moving so quick with development. We just been focused. The whole premise of Ion Desk is the order. We want you to be able to submit whatever type of order that you want, and that's what kind of separates Ion Desk from other applications, is that we're just solely order focused. We want you to be able to put your brains into the order, either by signals we've created or ones that you created, and then be able to put that order follow that instructions. And so whether you were trading by hand, it wouldn't matter. You can come in here and trade one order by hand by simply taking your order out of the robot, and you can place it right here in our simple bracketed orders form, and you can do the same thing and have it just placed one time, just like you would in a normal form.
Let's say you've got your robot running,
mm-hmm.
and it's placing the trades, and you're also looking at the screen, but you realize you want to change, from a sell at a target to a sell at trading stop. Can you change that while the robot is already fired, or do you have to cancel and resubmit the? Order?
If one of your legs is already fired, then you'll have another leg or maybe two legs still sitting in the queue. You can go and cancel that and then resubmit it.
I see. Okay.
And so, like for instance, like if I already had an entry order, okay,
mm-hmm.
I'm just going to place this entry order at market.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. Let's place this guy. Okay, what's going on with this? Oh, it has some things that it's looking for. I was like, why didn't the order place? I don't even know my own system sometimes. Okay, so we're going to go cancel this guy. All right, and then we're going to go place this guy. Okay, so there's our position. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You can still come in here and have a target and a sell. Okay, and then place this, and it'll place it as a package. And so one of these guys, I'm like, for instance, if this would probably be it would need to be something that's not a stop. Like, for instance, a bid above here. And so if we it would need to be set up so that it wouldn't be triggered immediately. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm like, with it being a stop, that's what made it fire off. But it would need to be, something like, okay, I want the bid to be above this or the ask to be above this level, and then you'll actually have a selling package up against your entry package.
Yeah. So let's say you submit the buy order and you're looking at the screen and you haven't submitted this package, but now I want to create a trailing stop because I'm happy with where it is and let it run.
Okay. And
okay.
So you would come in with a target.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you would say, okay, I want a trailing stop, in which, like you've probably seen from the videos that we have a lot of different types. And
trail by percent?
We can, yes, you can trail by percent. You just double click this, you would double click the $ there and change it from a $ to a percentage.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's pretty tight there, but yeah, that's where you change that. And if you roll over, it'll say, $, or percentage, double click the toggle.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah, and so eventually, like one of the things that I was telling one of the clients is that you need to understand what percentage means, because sometimes people, I know that you may know, like for instance, like if I'm dealing with a $3 stock and I say, trail by 50%, well, that means that I'm trailing by $1.50. And some people are like, well, it moved up from $1 to $3.50, and so I was expecting it to trail by 50 cents. And I'm like, nah, that's not the way percentages work.
No, I understand that, yeah.
Okay.
That's good. This is great. This has been wonderful, and I'm going to be playing with it this weekend and hopefully next week in a simulated environment if I can get past the basics, yeah.
Yeah, I think you will. I mean, the only thing you want to think about is that you have an order and then you apply brains to it. That's that's essential. Everything else is just a display of what happened and how it happened. And we've got some other things, like for instance, like when if you do deal with the robot, then you've got settings per that robot and some pretty advanced settings. So like for instance, something that we just put in here recently was the permission. And so it's a pretty cool thing. So like for instance, like let's say you weren't comfortable with the robot. You were like, I like that, but I'm not sure about it. Okay, and so you could come in here and say, okay, I want, when this order is placed, I want it to, to give me a permission box. And so like let me show you this. And so I'll place this guy online. Okay, again, it still has its brains here. Let's cut those brains off. Okay, let's take that guy back offline. Place it back online. Okay, so now we get a permission box. Hey.
Oh, cool. Yeah, very
Samir,
cool.
Do you want to place this trade? And you're like, oh yeah. Bam. Place the trade.
I got it. That's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
One last question, honestly, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
Is it possible, and I don't have a use case for this right now, but I'm just wondering, is it possible to have a robot running at a 15-minute interval that generates a signal that feeds into a 30-minute robot, and the 30-minute robot uses that signal as input into a transaction?
The answer is yes. But the way you have to do it is basically when you're saying when one robot trades, you want the other one to trade.
Yeah, let me tell you. So let's say I develop the system, right?
Okay.
And I want to run the system on an hourly basis, but I want to have it front running with a 15-minute and a 30-minute robot.
Okay.
When the 15-minute robot generates a signal, it uses that as input into the 30-minute robot, When
Okay.
that generates a signal, it feeds into the 1 hour robot. So you see in the TQQ, for example, you said, wow, that's a long time, the 30-minute.
Right.
And you know you're going to be looking at 4 bars.
Right.
Well, one idea I'm playing with, which is, okay, let me fire a 15-minute robot. It's not going to trade, but it's going to generate a signal. That
Okay.
signal is going to be weighted into the parameters of the 30-minute robot. And when that fires, that signal is going to be input into the actual.
Yeah. You don't want to think about it like that. You want to think about it in terms of a strategy. You want to think about the robot as a mail carrier, okay? And that mail is your order, okay? And inside of the order is what you're talking about. And basically, what you're talking about is like, let's just take. I'm gonna remove this guy, okay? And I'm gonna copy this guy 3 more times.
Okay.
Okay? And we're gonna paste that guy. Basically what you're saying is that I want the 15-minute to be true, I want the 30-minute to be true, and so on. And I want
okay, that's a much easier way to do it. Okay,
yeah.
And then that would generate the buy signal. Okay.
Right, because basically what you want to do is, or basically what you're saying is that, okay, fine, my smallest interval is true. I want to make sure that the 30-minute is true, and I want to make sure that the hour is true. Let me show you what I did based on exactly what you're talking about just yesterday. I'll show you exactly what results we got from doing something very similar to that. Let's see, where are my? Okay, here's a strategy. And I did, let's see, here's a strategy test, momentum, and this is what that looks like from yesterday. And plus, I'll show you. I'll go ahead and launch the actual orders, and then I'll show you visually what it looked like. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what you just explained is exactly what this particular strategy did yesterday. It did 3,700. Which, who cares about the dollar amount as long as it's green, because it's just a scale of, whatever. But basically, the concept was that we had 2 signals running. We had the momentum ratio signal running, along with we had a smaller time limit Renko running. So we had something that was saying, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And then we had the larger time frame momentum saying, no, not until I say it's time to go. So that's the same thing that you're.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so these are here are the orders that you're able to export from IonDesk right here. Like whenever you get some orders, you just go right here and you click export, and you can look at them in whatever format you want.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, so here are the actual orders. I don't have the profit amount here, but you can see that all of these are bullish, even though like they're bearish inverse. So they're still bullish. So right here we had a pretty huge loss on 2,000 shares. We had another small loss on 2,000 shares, and then we had a huge gain on 2,000 shares. This was about $2,000, and then we had a small loss, small gain, small loss, small gain, small loss, big decent gain, and big gain at the end. So, but these are the orders that were generated by that particular order setup that I just previously showed you here.
Okay, this is great. I didn't realize you could do multiple time frames in the conditional.
Oh yeah. You can do whatever you want, but keep in mind, your computer's working. So if you have a strong computer, then this is that's a moot point. And so,
well, what do you mean? What do you mean the computer is working?
Well, I've had some people do it's like they had 50 strategies in there, and they're all checking. Okay, is this true? Is that true? And they're like, well, why does this take so long? And I'm like, no matter what it is that you're computing, the computer still has to do the work. So, for instance, let's say we're midday, and you had 50 strategies that were checking historical data, and let's say that that each check took I don't know, a half a second. Okay? And that's decently fast. I don't know. Half second multiplied times 50. Okay?
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with that? Or like,
No,
let's
no, I
just
know
say,
exactly. Yeah, I know exactly. But don't worry, I got enough horsepower.
yeah, and so if it's of a decent size, like say, 10 strategies, and you like got one checking a quote, and then some other ones checking some other things, and it's I mean like you won't even notice it. But I've seen some people do some pretty far out stuff. I mean like I actually had one guy who had a 3,000 line, believe it or not, 3,000 line script. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he loves it, and it uses the Williams R. And he said it works like a charm. I'm like, "Well, knock yourself out." And
Wow.
I was like, his name is Frederick, and I was like, "Frederick, why didn't you just build an add-in?" He said, "No, I like the script." So
Yeah.
I've seen it all, But as long as customers are happy, that's what we're about, and everything in here is not that great. Like we tell customers that Ion Desk is not for laying out 20 charts at the same time. Because you're taking
Right.
away from your order processing.
Right.
Samir, I say this is that again, Ion Desk is all about the order, and so anything we do in the future, like for instance, like we're going to bring in sentiment into Ion Desk. So what that means is that you'll be able to go in and plan your sentiment. So if you are a sentiment-based trader, which a lot of us are, because a lot of us have enough sense to know that, hey, the Fed meeting is coming out at 2 o'clock. You know what? That's going to be a very volatile time. I think I'll trade at 2:15 versus at 2 o'clock. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
And so you would be able to go into this thing and say that at this point in time, I want to avoid this point in time, or I think that this time is going to be bearish, and then I think 3 weeks out, I think we're going to be bullish. We actually used to have sentiment builder in here. The problem was that I didn't wire it back into the order, so therefore it was just another pretty tool. But now that we understand what we're trying to achieve, we're going to allow you to plan in the future. Hey, Ion Desk, avoid this. Hey, look for this, and you'll be able to feed that brain back into your order. And so you're doing work out in front, and your orders are in line with the way you were thinking already.
Yeah.
So
That's great. That's wonderful. You have people using this live with E-Trade by chance? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people it's people go out there and they find us and they're like, "Why in the world are you guys hidden in the back?" I'm like, "Well, that's E-Trade has us hidden." But when customers come to us, we get people divided. Oh, this is a piece of junk. I'm like, well, you didn't take the time out to find. Sometimes people come in and they hate it within an hour. But that's fine. I mean, we make thousands of dollars trading. So, but the customers that come in and take the time to understand what's going on under the hood, like yourself. I mean, like you're at least taking the time to be trained on it so that you can understand the context of the tool, and so the people that take the time, they love it,
Yeah, it was really great. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to show me around, and it's going to be a very happy weekend, I think. I'm going to be playing a lot.
Well, that's great. I hope you enjoy your weekend as well as your holiday, and I'm always around. Just please, send me an email, and then I'll respond timely like I did before I even knew you.
Okay, excellent. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Okay, talk to you soon, Samir.
Yeah, don't freeze your ass off up there.
Well, I'm actually in Atlanta, so it's not too cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
in
not
North
too.
Carolina, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm actually from South Carolina, so.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
yeah, I live
yep.
in Chapel Hill here in North Carolina.
Okay, that's great.
If you're ever up this way, let me know. I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Okay, sounds great.
Right.
I actually will be making a trip. I'm not sure when, because I do business with Trade King, and Trade King is just right outside of Charlotte, in the financial district.
Okay.
And so I will be up there pretty soon. I'm soon meaning before summertime, I guess I should say. You know, but
well, if you find your way in the Research Triangle Park, let me know for sure. We'll get together.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, thanks.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.